what is kernel, okay, which is the brain of your operating system. So kernel is the OS of the operating system. It's the central component that directly manages hardware resources. Responsibility: CPU scheduling, memory allocation, device drivers, file system handling. We have seen this in 7 layers. Privilege mode, like runs at the lowest level, will full control over the system. Invisible to user, okay, so invisible to user, behind the scenes, okay. What is shell? Shell is an interpreter interface. The shell is the program that lets you talk to the kernel in human readable command format. Responsibilities: accept commands like ls, mkdir, cp, many more, interprets them and passes them to the kernel. So shell works as an interpreter. They deliver tasks to the kernel, okay. Features: command history, scripting, environment variables, customization, all available in the shell. User facing: it's what you see when you open a terminal. It's, in simple terms, we can say kernel is the engine of a car that actually does the actual work. Shell is the steering wheel, dashboard, how you control the engine, okay. Now let's talk about the see a picture where you can better understand shell, kernel, hardware output. Okay, you have a keyboard. You type the command on the shell. I said list files. It's the place where it will not do any auto correction. It's not gonna delete files. What you will say, it will actually do that thing only. Okay, it passes the commands in a meaningful way to the kernel. Then kernel communicate with the hardware and it generates the output. Here, how it works. Common shells: bash shell, Z shell, fish shell, sh, Bourne shell, dash. The most common I see in my journey is the bash and the Z shell. Bash is actually the born again shell. This is the distinction you need to remember. sh is the born shell, and bash is actually the born again shell. Okay, default on most Linux distro. If you are going to use the Z shell, it's modern, it's customizable. Fish is friendly, interactive, user friendly. It's the older one, and dash is faster, used for booting scripts and similar activities. Okay, so I hope you have a better idea. In my journey, I said I use bash and Z shell. These are most common amongst the administrator developers, but as it said, fish is friendly, interactive, user friendly. Okay, so go ahead and go and explore it if you want. So quick check, how we can quick check. Now we are going to perform these tasks in our environment, the Ubuntu environment. I said while we were doing the WSL installation that you need to reinstall. So if you have already reinstalled the Ubuntu, it's going to appear on the screen like that. Okay, I'm gonna use this one. This is the default environment, lacks the colorful feature. I just going to click on this drop down over here and click on the Ubuntu. This is more a better option. If you want to configure the settings, so you can just go inside the settings where you can see all the shells available, the profiles, startup profile. You can configure it with the Ubuntu, whatever you want. I'm not going to change anything, otherwise it will take time. Just start our command. So this is our the shell environment, okay? And we are going to run these commands over here, and this will do see how they are going to perform. All right, so let's run the echo command and echo $shell. Okay, what this will do, it will gives you what shell I am using and where this shell file is located. Like it's available inside the bin directory, and under the bin there is a bash file. So this is how it's running. So this shell command, which shell I'm using, and it tells me more about which software is running or which program is running the shell. Okay, then we have echo $0, and this is very similar. Okay, $0, I think this is my mistake. $0, this will also show you bash, and this is your bash command then you are running. So it's also another way to check which shell we are using. Finally, if you are interested to see about the process, then you can write ps-p, and $$ is your current location and current shell. And you can see we are running the bash shell, the process ID of this. Okay, and we are using the terminal, and this is the execution time when we started this command. Okay, so this is how we are going to tell more about which shell we are running. Next, if you are looking to check the kernel information, then you can run the kernel. Like there is a command uname. If you run uname, it is going to show you we are running Linux. Uname, if you are going to use the option -s, so it will same. Then if you want to know the node name or your computer name in terms of Windows, it's Cloud1. That's the name I kept for my machine. Then we are going to use that -r option. It is the version. This belongs to WSL, and WSL is released by Microsoft. That's why it's using the kernel release over here. Then we have -v. It's going to show you the kernel version, and this is the version of kernel that was released in 2025 that I am using. Then we have the O option is about the operating system. We are using GNU Linux. Okay, GNU or GNU, whichever you want, you can say. And if you want all of this information, you can just press -a, and -a is going to show you. I am using the up and down arrow key to navigate between the command. Like up arrow is just showing me all the previous command I ran. Down arrow just take me into the back. So you can see I just ran the -a option with uname, and uname is going to show me all information like the bash, the kernel name I'm using, the node name, the version, license, version, kernel release, many more. So this is how you are going to use it. If you want to see the OS release details, then it's available inside the etc os-release, and I'm gonna type this command. Now you can see it is showing me the pretty name is Ubuntu 24.04.4 is the long-term stable release. LTS version, name is Ubuntu, ID is this, version is this. Okay, so much information about the OS release. Okay, so I hope you have a pretty good idea what we have covered in this one. Now let's proceed with other commands. Explore bash detail. If you wanna, let me just type the clear command. So I just clear the window, and now we are good on this one. So apt bash show bash. Okay, so this is going to show a complete bash information about the bash program that we are using. This is important. You need to know more about the bash, so you can just run apt show bash and it will show you the complete details of the bash shell that we are using. And if you like, this is a complete information. If you just want to check the description, so you can just go ahead and use a pipe symbol and write the grep command description, and it will show you just the description. You can see the description is this. Here we are. Prompt is like where it's written username, then is your host name, then the directory which you are using. So this is your user, then computer. Okay, now let's discuss with the prompt. And if you can see, the prompt is actually we have the username, which is the username is Tariq over here, and we have the host name. And this host name actually in my system in Ubuntu, it's the cloud01. Colon is not included. Then we have the directory. Directory is showing as the tilde symbol over here. It means I am inside my home directory. So if I'm going to run the pwd command, you can see I am inside the home Tariq. So that's why it's representing tilde character. If I'm going to move inside the etc, so you can see here I have the etc command. Okay, so I'm just going back to, I am inside my home directory. So you have the idea, user, then the host machine, then the current directory. This is how it works in Ubuntu. Then we have the command structure. Command, like every command that you are going to write, it all have the command, option, and argument. Okay, like command will be ls, option will be -l, argument will be a directory. So this is how command represents the what, option represents how, and argument represents the target, where we are going to perform this. Most of the commands come with both options, like a single letter and a full command list, like the ls command. ls-l will just show me the list. I don't have any file. Let's move the ls-l and going to use the etc. So it will show me the etc directory list command. Then there are no dashes. It's a legacy version. When we are going to perform the compression, then we will see how it works. But as it said, most commands accept both styles. Most shell or commands accept both styles. There are some more examples. You can see ls-l /home. This will show you the home directory. So let me clear this, and ls-l -home is going to perform the home directory. Then you can remove file. Okay, then there is a search command. Then you can do intensive search in the system log. Okay, so I hope you can perform these commands. Proceed. And then we have, like I said, ls-a. It will list the command, and -all. Then we have ls-la. This will list and show the hidden directories as well. You can see, if you have noticed, we don't have any files over here. These all are hidden files, which are starting with the dot symbols. Okay, so you can combine this ls-l-a as well, or you can write ls-la similarly. Both gonna work with that.